Well, this is a very interesting, peculiar flag you have there. This is now there's some very serious conversations about the relationship between the United States and Israel. All of this as it looks like war has been averted, as the Israeli government right now is not happy, even though the vast majority of the Israeli people are against war. Everyone's really against war, as now the battle is happening amongst Harvard, a learning, quote, institution with some very shady past records and endowments that now are finally getting a major reduction in taxpayer funds, as the debate and controversy has started surrounding some interesting comments from Charlie Kirk that I personally couldn't agree with more here when it comes to the very kind of aggressive maneuvers being made by the Trump administration in order to combat and fight a certain political ideology which does not violate the First Amendment, but is treated as if it does. What's really going on here? Well, let's look at this story in full detail here, as we have this article specifically from the Washington Post detailing how Trump is freezing $2.2 billion to Harvard, as they say and claim he has provided no proof of wrongdoing. Well, I have a lot of things I would say Harvard is specifically doing wrong here, as the Trump administration skipped over requirements, including offering to hold a hearing when applying financial penalties related to civil rights violations. Harvard University stands to lose billions in federal funding, but the government action against one of the world's top research institutions were applied with vague accusations and no proof of specific legal violations, documents show. Now, that's what they're saying here. Again, Harvard, it's essentially the woke mind virus factory. Okay, when we look at a lot of these top universities, they are intertwined with the U.S. intelligence agencies very intricately in order to help propel and propose and to push forward a certain sect of ideology, which I would say is absolutely destructive. Let's add that to the fact that Harvard also had a very close, cozy relationship with a Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, an individual that even when they knew he was abusing and hurting children, still allowed him to have his own individual office at Harvard. As of course, they were working on some weird scientific experiments, as Jeffrey Epstein had a lure for, of course, population control and eugenics. What were they up to? What were they doing? Why did Harvard have such a cozy relationship, even though when Epstein was a registered offender, still allowing him in the university, still allowing him to be amongst the students? What?
Office.
Yeah, up until 2018, still had an office there. That is wild. But here's the thing. He had a lot of scientists that he was tight with. And that was one of the things that he did, was bring these scientists to that island. And he would have young girls on that island. But like, what's the end goal there? This is what I don't understand. And what's really crazy is Ghislaine Maxwell is in a minimum security prison. She is allowed to do yoga, she's allowed to hang out and watch TV, she's watch Netflix. And
Is she allowed to use email to send us the list?
that's what I was gonna say. The list has not been released. Like, there is a fucking list.
Yep. Where is that list? Who's on that list? And how did Harvard participate with all of this? And again, it is the bastion of loony, leftist, woke, liberal thinking. As of course, we have this low T soy boy, Steve Kerr, who is the biggest fan favorite of all the woke nonsense out there, seen earlier today wearing a Harvard T-shirt, standing in solidarity with this strong leftist institution that now finally is getting their upcomings when it comes to all of the horrible ideas that they have propelled in our Western modern society, that their ideology is, of course, centered around destroying.
Something going on. Tommy Amaker is a friend of mine, Harvard coach, and he sent me the shirt. Actually, we practiced there in Boston in November. He gave me the shirt and felt like a great day to wear it.
Oh, yeah, I wonder why there. As, of course, the pro-BLM anti-Second Amendment basketball coach who loves to talk about the establishment talking points all the time now is standing with Harvard. As we're getting news from Alan Dershowitz, also another individual tied into Epstein there in very peculiar ways, that Harvard is surrendering, as reveals that there's going to be a secret deal being made here as the Trump administration is asking and demanding visa records. As, quote, the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem just canceled 2 grants for the university, as she says America is demanding more. Now, why was Harvard cut here? Were they cut here because of their kind of woke ideology that's anti-American, that discriminates against white men officially with their own kind of hiring and college student application processes that, of course, favor people because of the way that they were born and not based on their academic achievements? Are they being fired for hurting and pushing and destroying this kind of woke ideology that has hindered and hurt so many, specifically white males? Nope, not because of that. They're being hurt and being punished for something else that is a long trend with Donald Trump in his new administration that I absolutely disagree with. And now Charlie Kirk has voiced his opinion on in a way that I think is absolutely constructive, absolutely important for this key critical time. Before talking about that and a lot more, we wanted to tell you about thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you can get the shirt that I'm wearing right now. All you got to do, Island, type in, I think if you just type in Island, you'll be able to get it. Yep, you just type in Island into thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and you're able to get the shirt that I'm wearing right now, highlighting the real Island boys with the Mr. Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein there having the time of their life. As, again, they loved their population control. They loved their eugenics. They loved trying to lower the Earth's population for some strange reason, and they were probably successful at it in more ways than one. Lots of great shirts. Again, a lot of people see the shirt and they start laughing. I like being able to spread messages to the general public and to bring in a little bit of humor, a little bit of comedy, and that's what we strive to do here on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. They're not the most serious of shirts, but if you got a crazy uncle and his birthday is coming up, or you just want to say thank you for being a crazy uncle and allowing us to have fun and not taking life too seriously, thebestpoliticalshirts.com is the perfect way to express your discontent against a broken civil society and have some fun during the midst of, the destruction of Western civilization that has been promoted by the woke ideology mind virus. Again, this woke mind virus only works if they're able to propel their ideas without any kind of pushback. You could offer up that pushback. And again, some of them are just ridiculous. We got some Helen Keller shirts. This one, oh my goodness. This one always has... the moments I had wearing this T-shirt. I'm gonna wear it once again here. I gotta get it out. I gotta find it for this particular weekend. Really fun stuff happens when you start wearing shirts like this. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Go out there and support this independent media network here. As, of course, let's continue on with this specific story here, as Harvard University has now been ordered to submit records by April 30th or lose its certification to enrollment international students under the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, with, quote, an anti-American, pro-Hamas ideology poisoning its campuses and classroom. Harvard's position as a top institution of higher learning is distant memory, Kristi Noem said, head of the Department of Homeland Security, as she released a statement saying, quote, America demands more from universities entrusted with taxpayer dollars. Now, there's a lot of universities that do offer up a lot of racist, discriminatory, absolutely just evil policies against people. Predominantly Asians and white males are the biggest kind of people affected by this. Now, I haven't seen a lot of these top universities, other than, allowing protests and allowing speech at their campuses. I haven't seen these type of universities say, no Jewish people. Jewish people not allowed here. No, sorry. I haven't seen them implement any kind of racist, discriminatory policies like that they have against white people and Asian people. So what's really going on here? Well, this is predominantly to combat and fight, quote, anti-Semitism. A term that has been made up to fight racism. And this is something that the left has been doing as well here, as specifically brought up by Charlie Kirk, whose statement I want to read here because I think it really nails the kind of current situation, the nail right in the head there, in a perfect representation of people being like, wait, hold on here. What's really going on here? Really, this is the stand. This is what we're fighting up against when there is real racism. There is real discrimination happening. But we're going after ones that, of course, express a political opinion that a foreign country is allergic to and doesn't want to tolerate. And again, we live here in America. We have a right to express ourselves, but that right, whether you like it or not, is being slowly and surely trampled on by some of the members of this new administration that have taken it upon themselves to say, you express something, we therefore will be taking actions against you. As I responded to Charlie Kirk's statement saying the First Amendment should come first, not a foreign country, as he specifically posted a video of David Freeman, an ambassador to Israel, who really made some very big kind of salacious comments, to say the least here, blaming Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, highlighting, specifically speaking about them for individuals that are, quote, anti-Semitic. Now, Tucker Carlson has been on their hit list, mainly because he was one of the leading people that just stopped the war with Iran that some members of the Israeli government really wanted. The people of Israel didn't want to, but the Israeli government now really wanted this war. They weren't able to get it because Tucker Carlson kind of led the rallying call here, as well as some other important members of Trump's cabinet that actually were able to say, hey, guys, this is stupid. This doesn't make sense. And now he's being accused of being anti-Semitic. And I don't think he is. I think him pinpointing certain information, having conversations that are politically inclined, shouldn't lead to something that is going to, of course, lead to government action. But the government has been encroaching on the First Amendment, has been coming and saying, hey, you express any kind of views against Israel or anti-Semitic, we're going to deport you. We're going to cut your visas. We're going to cut your legal process to become a citizen of the United States here. As, of course, I understand if it's against America, maybe, but why a foreign country? Why is it so alert? And then people need to understand here, the Israelis are doing themselves a huge disservice here because by acting so allergic to criticism, they're creating the Streisand effect here, which, of course, wants people to criticize them that much more. All right? And if you overtly go out and do your best to punish people who criticize, you yourself are making yourself look a little bit more insecure here and making yourself a bigger target here, which if you're an Israeli Jewish person, you would be like, hey, and there's a lot of Israeli Jewish people that I personally know that are like, hey, this is ridiculous, this is stupid, and this is going to lead to, of course, the rise of anti-Semitism.
You're alluding to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, none of them are any good on the right. On the left, I don't like any of these anti-Semites, and I'm not shy about it.
Again, I don't think they're anti-Semites, but for you to just blankly say that they are because they expressed criticisms against the leadership, the political government of Israel. Again, there's people in Israel that protest the government there a lot. There's a lot of Israelis that are not. Are they anti-Semitic? Well, that's an absurd assertion here by this guy.
But the government, the United States government, or the government of France, or the government of any other country, has the power to rein in anti-Semitism in a much more effective way.
Rein in anti-Semitism. Same thing the left did. We got to rein in racism. We got to punish people for being racist. Same thing. Anti-Semitism, racism, just this. It's the same word. I don't know why we need a special word. We don't. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
You know, people say, well, the governments are not in the business of changing the way people think. That's true, but to my thinking, most people who are anti-Semites, most of these people running around, we're not going to win their hearts and minds because.
See, that's a very loose term here, and the government's not in the business of changing people's minds. But that "but" is a very big "but" there. Okay, we're talking about big booty butt Latina butt. That's big butt, right? And then the way you're kind of hinting it is like, yeah, the government should change people's minds, and that's what I think the Trump administration is kind of doing here by setting up a chilling effect to a lot of people, saying, hey, you know what? We're going to arrest people for their views that we're going to deem anti-Semitic. And again, that term is being held so loosely because there are legitimate monsters and evil people out there, just like we saw the lunatic that tried to burn down the Pennsylvania's governor's home over a free Palestine protest. Okay, that person, yeah, anti-Semitic, yeah, throw the book at him. Yeah, he was awful. He was a human being. But now when you're trying to, of course, conflate that with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and you're saying, no, the government should apply pressure to them because of their viewpoints and their political expressions here, that right there is an over-abuse of power and something we don't do here in America because of the First Amendment.
They don't have hearts and they don't have minds. So,
You don't have hearts, you don't have minds, really? Come on, you're just dehumanizing people because they disagree politically with you? Yeah, that's low-level form of just emotional manipulation there that people, of course, won't be falling for.
How are we gonna, there's no reason to think we're ever going to convince them, but we can deport them, we can put them in jail, we can make their lives miserable, we can cut off their funding, and that's what the Trump administration is doing for the first time.
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing it. Make them miserable, put them in jail for expressing thoughts. I'm sorry, look, I don't like racists, I don't like bigots. I think a lot of them are just idiots. But in America, we have a right to express any kind of thoughts, and that's what makes this country great. This is what this country was founded on. These are the core principles. These are the Bill of Rights. This is the First Amendment, and when you're subverting the First Amendment for a, quote, protected group of people, this is something that sets up red flags for people saying, hey, it's about America first, all right? And you're not prioritizing America by destroying our right to be racist, stupid, or to express ourselves in any way, shape, form we want to. That is not America first. And luckily, Charlie Kirk realizes it. Of course, he just released a statement saying, look, I have a lot of sympathy with the Jewish people. I oppose anti-Semitism, and I do it regularly. Anti-Semitism is the, quote, pits of hell, as Charlie Kirk described it here. He, of course, had to preface his statement by saying that. But he says, but I have to disagree with Ambassador Friedman here. The First Amendment and our strict freedom of speech is one of America's greatest rights and sets us apart from every other country in the world. One of the central promises of Trump's 2024 campaign was to restore and protect American freedom of speech. Yes, it was. And now I would argue he's destroying it. Charlie Kirk goes on. 5 years ago, our elites tried to destroy free speech in America in order to stop racism. Immediately and predictably, stopping racism became a justification for wrecking our cities and wrecking the lives of people who did nothing wrong. Simultaneously, in the name of stopping transphobia, they tried to make it impossible to dissent against the mutilation of children or radical gender propaganda in schools. The criminal witch hunts against President Trump by Fani Willis and Jack Smith both tried to criminalize President Trump's speech, indicting him for making tweets or delivering speeches. Racism and anti-Semitism are both evil and must be opposed. But a government organized around jailing, impoverishing, or silencing people based on racism is what our enemies wanted. We should not repeat their mistakes just because some kefefe-wearing communists are protesting on campus. If you don't like a person's opinion, that doesn't mean they are an anti-Semite. But once anti-Semitism becomes valid grounds to censor or even imprison somebody, there will be a frantic effort to label all kinds of speech as anti-Semitic. The way the left labeled all kinds of statements as racist to justify silencing their opposition. Not only that, but all of this won't even work. A legal crackdown won't make anti-Semitism go away. In the long run, it makes it worse. Yep. American free speech tradition is our birthright. We should never get rid of it. Absolutely, 110% agree with Charlie Kirk on his particular statement here, as of course, it should go without saying here. And individuals here who want to come into the United States and destroy our free speech are individuals that, of course, do not love America and do not prioritize America as a country. They prioritize another country. And they should just be a lot more open about it and stop pretending it. So, I think Charlie Kirk here is absolutely in the right. I think what the Trump administration has been doing is wrong here. You want to, get rid of the kind of racism that has been institutionalized by the left. Okay, that's cool. We can unravel it. I think all public universities should not be, funded by our tax dollars. They have huge endowments. They have huge money. They have a track record of just institutionalizing some of the worst, most awful, bigoted policies, specifically against Asians and white guys. And I think that forms of discrimination should be stopped here. Now, should specific universities only be targeted because of the allowing of speech and criticism against another foreign country that has nothing to do with us? No, that's a little bit ridiculous here, in my opinion. And a lot of the initiatives by Homeland Security, a lot of these kind of woke right-wing policies that are against our inherited values and core principles that this country was founded on are anti-American and do not prioritize this country at all here. We have been financing the Israeli defense for a long time, which allows them to have welfare. We have been supporting them. And to me, this brings Israel really to a big disadvantage here, as they are now going to, of course, create a lot more havoc, a lot more problems for themselves that wouldn't be there if it wasn't for specifically America intervening here. Israel should be strong to be able to defend itself. But now a lot of people see Israel as America's vassal state and America as Israel's vassal state in the particular region. Now, how all of this is unfolding and is really interesting to say the least here, but it's pretty clear here. The Trump administration has a mandate, and they are doing almost exactly what the left did, which I think also was absolutely un-American. And I think if we are going to be leading forward and moving forward, we should be moving forward in a way and in a direction where we, of course, allow America to be totally free, respecting the First Amendment, regardless of whatever people's opinions and thoughts are. If you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more important than ever. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange. Get a t-shirt. Speak up your mind, and let people know that you will not be silenced and you will not be in a constant state of fear because people want to, of course, silence you. They can't silence you unless you let them. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.